Hi, I'm Crystal Weaver, and welcome to Tech Tip Tuesday. We have another exciting installment planned. Jim Ference from NXT Power will be conducting a series of tech tip videos. Jim has over 31 years experience in the power supply industry and will be discussing his first tip, top 5 things you should consider when selecting a UPS for your analyzers. Take it away, Jim.
All right. Thank you, Crystal. I appreciate that. 31 years of experience. I considered that seasoned. So appreciate the opportunity to share some tech tips on Tech Tip Tuesday. So the first tip I have for selecting a UPS is don't cut corners. And what I mean by that is your organization just spent $50,000, $100,000, maybe even $500,000 in analytical equipment or analytical assets. And that's the core for running your business. So when I say don't cut corners, don't skimp on the power protection piece in protecting these assets. I kind of use an analogy. It's like buying a race car and then purchasing the cheapest tires. You're not going to get the performance or expectations out of your investment if you cut corners with the power protection. So I usually use the term protect the whole process. So don't do just a piece of the system. Some people will do just the mass spec and they may do just the PC. So you expose the system to power quality issues and you expose the system to long-term degradation or damage or failures over the lifetime of that system when it's installed if you're only protecting part of it. And you're also exposing the business to costly repairs, lost man hours, and downtime down the road. So protect the entire process, protect your investment, and don't cut corners. The second tip I have is size the system appropriately. So if we're not cutting corners and we're going to size the system appropriately, we're here to help you do that. So if you're not quite sure how to size the system, what you can do to make it easier for yourself and for us is provide a list of connected equipment involved in the process or the application. So list the equipment by manufacturer, by model number, the voltage required for it, maybe the current or the power consumption in VA for each, and then the plug type, what type of plug is with each piece of equipment. That way we can assemble a custom back panel and configure it for you. So for example, if you're purchasing maybe an Agilent 6400 series, maybe a 6495 triple quad, it's got 208 volts input. It's got maybe 15 amps of current requirement, and it's got two 6-15 plugs on it. The other piece that's working in that process would be the Agilent 1290, maybe a 1260 LC series, 120 volts, 10 amps with 6 5-15s. Then does it have an auto sampler? Is there a PC and a printer involved? So these would be additional 15 amp, 120 volt circuits required for configuration. So once we get all that information together, we can size the system, configure a back panel for you, and make it easy plug and play for your application and for RFSEs when they come to install the system. It makes for a quicker installation and a quicker setup. The third thing that you need to consider when selecting a UPS is runtime. So how much runtime does your process require? If it's a production process that kind of needs continuous runtime, you might look or ask facilities if they have or if you have access to an emergency generator circuit. What the emergency generator will do will allow you and allow us to kind of be the bridge and the buffer between the utility and when the generator kicks in. So you want to know if your UPS has the ability to regulate frequency, but if you have access to an emergency generator circuit, then you only need a minimum amount of runtime as far as batteries go, and you're good to go. As long as you have a fuel source, you can run your application and your system in a production environment all day long. If it's a QA, QC process, and you only need a few minutes of runtime, we can do that too. Most battery backup systems, our battery backup systems, will run for 10, 15 minutes before the system will do a shutdown. So just think about the process and whether it's, you know, a QA, QC short-term process, or it's a longer production process. Also, if you don't have access to an emergency generator, we can provide matching battery cabinets that connect into the main unit and provide additional 1 hour runtime per matching battery cabinet with the Integrity Max UPS system. Fourth thing to consider is it conditioned? And what I mean by that is most UPSs are just that. Whether it's an APC or an Eaton, they're batteries in a box. They're sitting and waiting for power to go out. They're not doing anything to the power line. All of the NXT product lines condition the power 100% of the time. We have a low impedance isolation transformer that physically and electrically isolates your system from the power line. So we kind of get in between there and condition the power 100% of the time. And we do that with the isolation transformer that provides a nice code legal ground neutral bond at the output. So everything that's plugged into the back of our unit has a single reference point. And so you get super accurate measurements and no disruption to the system. So just look at the specifications. Normally the specification would read common mode and normal mode noise attenuation of less than 10 volts of normal mode noise and less than half a volt of common mode noise. So make sure it's a battery backup system with power line conditioning. And then the final thing to consider is, what's my warranty? Okay. A lot of times people don't understand the warranty. Many of the inexpensive or cheaper UPSs, again, will have maybe a 2-year warranty on the electronics, but a 1-year warranty or maybe a 2-year warranty on the batteries. The problem with that is cost of ownership. It's costing you money to replace those batteries, and typically they ask you to replace them every 2 years. With NXT Power, you don't need to do that. Our warranty is a 3-year warranty. It's a 3-year matching warranty on both the batteries and the electronics. We don't require you to replace the battery until year 4. So that's a much lower cost of ownership over the lifetime of that system. So lower cost of ownership is very important. And our warranty is an on-site warranty for the Integrity Max series. So we'll physically go to the site, where many of these other UPS manufacturers make you ship the UPS back. You have to wait, your system's unprotected, and they charge you the shipping as well as the repairs. So 3-year on-site battery and electronics warranty from NXT Power. So just quick review, top 5 tips for selecting a UPS. Protect that whole process, size the equipment appropriately. If you don't know how to size it, we're here to help you. Understand what kind of runtime your application requires. Make sure the UPS has both battery backup and power conditioning in a single box, in a single solution, and then understand what your warranty is. So if you have any additional questions, please feel free to connect with GenTech and NXT Power, and we'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. Thanks, Crystal.
Thanks, Jim, for those insightful tips that will certainly help our customers out tremendously. Please stay tuned for our next tip in the series and learn more about how you can get a free Integrity Max LT Series UPS system at booth 207 at GCC. Thank you.
Thanks.